It's the Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be podsmacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
Here is Rob Carson. How are you guys? Welcome to the show. For those of you who are listening to this on iTunes, this will be episode number 263. 263. My goodness. What a wonderful number that is. It's the number. Anyway, welcome to the show. Just want to say right off the top of this that I'm doing my show a little early because it's my wife and I's 20th anniversary. What? Now we're one of those couples. We've been married 20 freaking years. Sickness and in health, better or for worse. Unfortunately, things are kind of worse right now. Not for her. I mean, I don't have a job. Yeah, but other than that, everything's great. Everything's just great. And I'm optimistic, eternally optimistic. So welcome to the show. Much to get to. Zuckerberg testimony. We've got, oh boy, apparently there was a fake porn video of Hillary Clinton out there. The only video that got fewer views than Hulk Hogan's sex tape. Stormy Daniels not apparently very important to the American public. An activist mom who's mad about sex ed in schools. A packer arrested. A town banning balloons, ladies and gentlemen. All sorts of good stuff on the show today. So let's get started. Let's first of all talk a little bit about the Zuckerberg testimony. I didn't watch much of it yesterday. Watched most of it yesterday. Today, actually. I haven't watched much of it today because I'm getting ready. I just vacuumed and I'm making a fabulous meal and, all that stuff for my lovely wife. We got a whole lot of this yesterday from Mark Zuckerberg. A whole lot of, I don't really know what's going on, but I'll have some people look into it.
If you'd like, I can have my team follow up with you after this. I'm happy to have my team follow up with you on more information if that would be helpful. Senator, I have not heard that. Mr. Chairman, I will have my team follow up with you on what information we have. Senator, I don't know. I do not know. We can follow up.
Okay, do that.
I can certainly have my team get back to you on any specifics there that I don't know sitting here today. I'm not, but let me just...
how about moveon.org?
Sorry? I'm not familiar with those specific cases.
Will you find out the answer and get back to me?
I'll have my team get back to you. I'm not specifically aware of those.
How about any Democratic candidate for office?
I'm not familiar with those pieces of content specifically.
Yeah.
I want to have my team follow up with you on that afterwards.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I get this accurate, so it would probably be better to have my team follow up.
So you don't know?
I'm not sure the answer to that question.
Really?
Yes.
I think you get my point. Something I read today, we were talking about it. This was originally supposed to be about privacy. This was originally supposed to be about scraping, private information and sharing it with it. There are 87 million people in the United States had their privacy breached on a website that people join and they share, to their 5,000 friends, everything about their lives, including their baby's first walk. Your kid's first birthday party, grandma's last birthday party, the iconic sitting on a lawn chair or on the beach with your feet sticking out there on a vacation that all you friends are not on. Ha, 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 ha. And we're concerned about privacy. We share our most private moments on Facebook. And we're concerned that Facebook is mining some data so they can put pop-up ads everywhere. And they do. It is weird. It is weird. I'll tell you, it is also kind of helpful, and I don't blame them for doing it. I don't worry about identity theft because my identity isn't worth much, you see. It's just not worth very much, As far as targeting ads, I don't have a problem with it. There are some other things that kind of bug me. I know that Alexa, who's right behind me, can't say the name too loud because she'll wake up and start asking me, what I need or whatever, so I got to say the name Alexa like this because she's listening all the time. That's a weird thing. As soon as I say that, Alexa, as soon as I say that, she's right there. So she's just sitting there. She's just sitting there, just kind of waiting. Yeah, what? Think about Alexa that way, She's just kind of sitting there. What? There it is. Yes, you said my name. Yes. Can I help you, master? Bing. Kind of like that. There's a little dated reference. That's I Dream of Jeannie. You millennials wouldn't know that. So there was a lot of that yesterday. There were a lot of old people. Patrick Leahy, I thought he was going to die. I just thought he was going to die there. I don't know. I don't know if it was drunk, maybe a mini stroke. And these really old people, Dianne Feinstein, asking technical questions, I think, is hilarious. I think it's absolutely hilarious. So, Mr. Zuckerberg, you have an algorithm that you changed. Sir, no, that's not Al Gore. What? Yes, Al Gore helped to invent the internet, and that's why I'm sure you're using the algorithm to decide what you put in the content. You know what? I'm going to have my staff get back to you on that. And why don't you got a little schmutz. It's just kind of, So, a little bit of that yesterday, a little bit of Democrats refusing to believe that Hillary Clinton lost the election, and so they want to keep the Russian thing in there. So all the Democrats are talking about Russian hacking and Russian this and Russian that. And speaking of which, by the way, just real quick, if you are eating something viscous or have a small basket that won't leak liquid nearby, just in case you would, okay? Apparently, a pornographic video that falsely claimed to show Hillary Clinton engaged in a sex act. Hold on. Oh, crap. It's not it. That won't hold any water. Let's try this again. Hillary Clinton engaged in a sex act. Has been tracked back to an account that Reddit acknowledged on Tuesday is linked to a Russian internet research agency. The account, Rubinger, was the Russia-linked agency's most popular account on Reddit, also received 100,000 votes. I assume the video didn't get 100,000 views. One of Rubinger's posts on Reddit's largest pro-Trump community says, this is how Hillary gets black votes. Links to an animated GIF or GIF, whatever you want to call it, of a fake porn video that is still available on the platform. The same sex tape was posted 5 times to Pornhub under the name Leaked Hillary Clinton's Hotel Sex Tape with Black Guy. It also appeared on Spank Bang. Don't look it up. Stop it right now. Viewed 250,000 times on Pornhub. Apparently half of those views were by hashtag Chaz Bono. Yeah. Anyway. By the way, the graphic video shows a blonde woman and a black man having sex through a mock hidden camera in what appears to be a hotel room. Okay, that's good. Okay. I did think that Ted Cruz got to the meat of the matter, which is important to me, which is publishers and which is censorship that is going on Facebook. And it is going on Facebook. There was an algorithm change in January that destroyed a lot of conservative publishers, essentially, including several that I work for, including Facebook at American Journal Review and Facebook at The American Patriot. We are, of course, asking people to go to LibertyOneTV.com, and watch there and become a member for only $4 a month. That's what we're asking you to do. Because hundreds of thousands of dollars has been spent by this AJR we just talked about, the American Patriot, gentleman named Terry Littlepage has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on Facebook, being led to believe that he can reach as many people possible by spending money on Facebook. And he did, and he was reaching, with his combined pages, 19 million people. 19 million people a month. Unbelievable. All right? And then Mark Zuckerberg decides to create this algorithm saying that Facebook is not in the publishing business. That's what he said. But unfortunately, he only made Facebook not in the publishing business when it came to conservative groups. That's it. And so, if you followed a conservative group, you haven't been getting any notifications. Nothing's been fed to your timeline. You're like, they must have disappeared. No, they're still there. They just can't reach you anymore. Diamond and Silk, fine example. They took Diamond and Silk, an innocuous, very funny A pair of African-American sisters who comment on the day's events. One of it's kind of like Penn and Teller. It's like a hood version of Penn and Teller. And they become very popular. They noticed back in September, boy, our views have really dropped off dramatically. Really dropped off dramatically. And then they wrote Facebook and said, what the hell is going on? They got a response back, something like, you're a community danger, a danger to the community, these two people. They've since backed off. And one of the reasons being is that they have access to, a lot of coverage. There's a lot of radio coverage. A lot of people are interested in this. Sean Hannity has had them on, and so they're backing off because they have the clout. But a lot of smaller publishers, we don't have that clout. We had our clout taken away. So to many people, we've just disappeared. I'm going to play a little bit of Ted Cruz. I just have the audio on this. Of Ted Cruz talking to Mark Zuckerberg about taking down publishers and conservatives.
Let me ask the question again. Does Facebook consider itself to be a neutral public forum, and representatives of your company have given conflicting answers on this? Are you a First Amendment speaker expressing your views, or are you a neutral public forum allowing everyone to speak?
Senator, here's how we think about this. I don't believe that there is certain content that clearly we do not allow, right? Hate speech, terrorist content, nudity, anything that makes people feel unsafe in the community.
Okay. Now, those are a couple of buzzwords on college campuses. You've got hate speech and makes people feel unsafe, all right? Because on campus right now, hate speech is conservative speech. That's just what it is. Hate speech is conservative speech on campus. And the reason why they call it hate speech is because, A, it's inflammatory. It makes it sound like it genuinely is hate speech, even though it isn't. It's just a conservative point of view. All right? That's all it is. And also, it's speech they hate. It's speech the left hates. They hate the conservative viewpoint, so they create safe spaces. Are there any conservative safe spaces on campuses? No. They're always liberal safe spaces where they can get away from conservative speech. So if Ben Shapiro, if he can speak on the campus without riots happening, people they can go to their safe space that they can hide from the ideas. Or if there's a table set up in a free speech zone that's promoting the Second Amendment and the value of the Second Amendment, they warn students that this is an unsafe place. See what I'm saying there? Unsafe. So Zuckerberg is parroting the same things that are happening on campus that restrict free speech. That's a telltale sign of what Facebook is doing to conservatives and conservative publishers on their page. The same thing's happening with Twitter. Did you hear the CEO of Twitter? He retweeted approval, essentially, of a guy who's written an article on how the United States needs to destroy the Republican Party and have single-party rule from here on out. And he said, great read. That's Twitter. YouTube is doing the same thing. These are the monsters of social media. These are the way that 85% of digital ad dollars are being spent on these platforms. And they are all run by leftists like Mark Zuckerberg. Don't believe me? You see all the times that Mark Zuckerberg visited the White House, glad-handed Barack Obama, give me an effing break. And I'll tell you also, I wouldn't doubt one little bit that President Barack Obama had something to do with this algorithm. I have no doubt whatsoever. Here's a little bit more of the exchange between Ted Cruz and Mark Zuckerberg,
who I think are deeply concerned that Facebook and other tech companies are engaged in a pervasive pattern of bias and political censorship. There have been numerous instances with Facebook. In May of 2016, Gizmodo reported that Facebook had purposely and routinely suppressed conservative stories from trending news, including stories about CPAC, including stories about Mitt Romney, including stories about the Lois Lerner IRS scandal, including stories about Glenn Beck. In addition to that, Facebook has initially shut down the Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day page, has blocked a post of a Fox News reporter, has blocked over 24 Catholic pages, and most recently blocked Trump supporters Diamond and Silk's page with 1.2 million Facebook followers after determining their content and brand were, quote, unsafe to the community.
Okay, there we go with the unsafe thing again, all right? Diamond and Silk are not unsafe, okay? They are not unsafe. They have an opinion. They're innocuous. They don't even curse. They don't call for riots. They don't call for political violence like the Antifa. Hello, Paradigm 42. How are you? Wait, so hate speech is not considered harassment? No. Well, there is. Nobody knows what hate speech is. Let me just say right now, okay? Nobody really knows what exactly is hate speech. Ben Sass from Nebraska asked Zuckerberg, I think this might have been today, about what is hate speech, and Zuckerberg didn't even have the right answer for it.
Can you define hate speech?
Senator, I think that this is a really hard question, and I think it's one of the reasons why we struggle with it. There are certain definitions that we have around calling for violence or
I hate walnuts. No, that's hate speech.
Let's just agree on that. If somebody's calling for violence, that shouldn't be there. I'm worried about the psychological categories around speech. You used language of safety and protection earlier. We see this happening on college campuses all across the country. It's dangerous. 40% of Americans under age 35 tell pollsters they think the First Amendment is dangerous because you might use your freedom to say something that hurts somebody else's feeling.
That's what's happening, kids.
Guess what? There are some really passionately held views about the abortion issue on this panel today. Can you imagine a world where you might decide that pro-lifers are prohibited from speaking about their abortion views on your content, on your platform?
I certainly would not want that to be the case.
But it might really be unsettling to people who've had an abortion to have an open debate about that, wouldn't it?
It might be, but I don't think that would fit any of the definitions of what we have.
Yeah, there is not really a definition of hate speech. Okay, we know that people say, if you say, somebody says, I hate black people. Okay, now, I'd say that's hate speech. All right? I hate walnuts. And I do. I really do. Oh, I hate walnuts. I should start a group, an anti-walnut group. But what is hate speech? Harassment is hate speech. Possibly, yeah. Harassment is if you harass people. Hell yeah, that's wrong. You can't do that. It's illegal. But what really is hate speech? I mean, saying you hate groups of people. Yeah, I'd say that's hate. That is discriminatory. That is hate speech. You support the Nazis and the extermination of Jews. I'd say that's hate speech, right? But what about you hate the idea of abortion because you think babies should live? What is hate? Define it for me. Paradigm 42. Just go ahead and define it for me if you would. Because I don't think they know. He's creating an algorithm for it, though. He says in the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to have an algorithm for hate speech. Welcome to George Orwell's 1984. 34 years later, I'm going to create an algorithm that monitors people's speech and in turn monitors their thoughts with regard to the speech. What did they mean when they said that? We have to get rid of it. A little bit more from the Crewster and Mr. Zuckerberg.
I understand where that concern is coming from because Facebook and the tech industry are located in Silicon Valley, which is an extremely left-leaning place.
What? Really?
And this is actually a concern that I have and that I try to root out in the company is making...
No, you don't. I don't think so.
...sure that we don't have any bias in the work that we do. And I think...
Woo!
It is a fair concern that that people would at least wonder about.
Let me ask this question. Are you aware of any ad or page that has been taken down from Planned Parenthood?
Senator, I'm not, but let me just...
I'll have somebody look into that. We'll get back to you.
MoveOn.org.
Sorry?
How about MoveOn.org?
I'm not specifically aware of those.
How about any Democratic candidate for office?
I'm not specifically aware. I mean,
I'm really not. I'm not sure. For a guy, really, honestly, really, do we believe this? Do we believe he's not aware of all of these things?
Sure.
In your testimony, you say that you have 15 to 20,000 people working on security and content review. Do you know the political orientation of those 15 to 20,000 people engaged in content review?
No, Senator. We do not generally ask people about their political orientation when they're joining the company.
But if you wear a Trump shirt or a MAGA hat, you're not going to get hired. Here's the finale of the exchange.
Senator, I think that there are a number of things that we would all agree are clearly bad. Foreign interference in our elections, terrorism, self-harm,
I'm
those
talking
are
about
things.
censorship.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I think that you would probably agree that we should remove terrorist propaganda from the service. So that I agree. I think is clearly bad activity that we want to get down.
Yes.
And we're generally proud of how well we do at that. Now, what I can say, and I do want to get this in before the end here, is that I'm very committed to making sure that Facebook is a platform for all ideas.
No.
That is a very important.
No, you're not actually, because if that were the case, then the Facebook pages associated with my show would be reaching 19 million people still.
Founding principle
instead of hundreds
of what we do. We're proud of the discourse and the different ideas that people can share on the service.
No, you're not.
And that is something that, as long as I'm running the company, I'm going to be committed to making sure is the case.
Well, it's not the case right now, Pookie. So let's just forget that fallacy, okay? By the way, they said about Diamond and Silk today that banning them because they're unsafe is inaccurate. That's what a spokeswoman for the company said. The spokeswoman said that they called Diamond and Silk and told them that. Diamond and Silk today, or at least yesterday afternoon, said, no, they haven't called us yet. Nope. Nopey, no. Did not. Oh, hold on. Facebook has dozens of ex-Obama and ex-Hillary staffers in senior positions. Zuckerberg has not mentioned that in revelations about the Obama 2012 campaign's exploitation of the platform to harvest masses of data from non-consenting users for the Democrats. That's why they had all those meetings at the White House. But there are a lot of people working now at Facebook. David Ricordon, former director of IT for Obama's White House, engineering director at Facebook. Okay. So there you go. You got David Plouffe. Remember David Plouffe? Policy and advocacy advocate. Was the campaign manager for Obama in 2008. You remember David Plouffe? He works for Facebook now. Josh Higgins, formerly design director at Obama for America. Anish Raman, a number of positions in the White House, speechwriter to the president. Lauren Agaby, former digital organizing manager for Obama for America. Danielle Guerco-Godke, former volunteer for Hillary for America and fellow at Organizing for America, which is Barack Obama's. Meredith Cardin, formerly worked at the office of Michelle Obama. I could go on and on and on. Noreen Khadr, organizing fellow at Organizing for America. I'm not seeing a lot of conservatives here. Yeah, whole Obama for America. Somebody worked there. Mother Jones at MSNBC. That's Brent Brownell, content strategist at Facebook. He's a content strategist. Can you believe that? And he worked at MSNBC and Pennsylvania for Obama and Mother Jones, and he's a content director. I'd say all of those things are pretty far left publications. So anyway, Paradigm 42, share with others if you would. We can disagree. It's okay. There's nothing really wrong with that. Nothing really wrong with it. So there's some rigmarole going on with Donald Trump's lawyer being raided yesterday or the day before yesterday for Stormy Daniels stuff related to Stormy Daniels and him taking out a mortgage loan for home equity loan for $130,000 to pay Stormy Daniels to keep her mouth shut for the first time in her career, I might add. And they raided the office, and it's not related to the Russia probe, but it is an overzealous Robert Mueller who's doing this. And there's nothing to say about the Russian investigation. There was no collusion. And now he's using the power of his office, of his position, to go after the president of the United States. And I might add, there are a lot of Republicans who support this. Right? April Ryan, who works for the Urban Radio Networks, which means basically if you're a white person, don't apply. You're not going to get hired. April Ryan decided to ask the stupid question of the day yesterday, and she was summarily rebuffed by Sarah Huckabee.
Question. With all of this turmoil, particularly this last week, has the president at any time thought about stepping down before or now?
No, and I think that's an absolutely ridiculous question.
It's not ridiculous.
I gave you two questions, April. We're moving on. Jordan, go ahead.
It's not ridiculous.
Pamela?
I'd say that's a pretty ridiculous effing question. to ask if the president is thinking of stepping down, you idiot. You know what that is? That's just wishful thinking on your leftist part. That's just wishful thinking. That's what Democrats think if they can wish it, it'll happen. If we give peace a chance, it'll happen. If we visualize world peace or we coexist. And now it's, if we just wish that Donald Trump will get impeached or step down, he'll do it. And it's not going to happen, sunshine. Not going to happen there, April Ryan. Apparently, only 23% of Americans believe the affair with Stormy Daniels is an important issue. Massive majority of 73% said it's not. Even 51% of Democrats agree it's not that important, along with 79% of independents. Moreover, there's also no notable gender gap in the question, apparently. So people really don't care about it. They just don't kind of care about it. Did you hear about the Green Bay Packer, the stupid thing he did at the airport? Wide receiver Trevor Davis reportedly arrested at Los Angeles International Sunday after jokingly telling an attendant at the Hawaiian Airlines ticket counter he had smuggled in a bomb while being asked security questions. Apparently, while answering a series of questions, Davis and a companion were asked if they had any knives or explosives. Davis then turned to his companion and said to her, "Yes, did you pack the explosives?" He was arrested. Released on $15,000 bail and will be in court on May 3rd. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. Really, really, really stupid idea, actually. No, I've got some other stuff that I want to get to here. There's an angry mom who's gone viral. Mother of 10 homeschooled children. Dear God in heaven. So irate over the notion that public schools could begin teaching what she considers reckless sexual behaviors and inclusive gender studies that she's attempting to launch a nationwide protest. Sex ed sit-out, ladies and gentlemen, which is going to take place on April 23rd. This woman is talking about, this graphic gender-bending BS that's going out there, and you can change your sex, but don't act like it's normal. Don't act like it's happening all over the place. It's 1 in 72,000 people. Don't go there. Don't talk to my kid about butt sex. Don't talk about my kid about oral sex. It's none of your business teaching your child that. My child that. Here is angry sex ed mommy. Like I said, here she is.
Delaware is pushing legislation to allow children in schools.
Yes, this is the state of Delaware, and I've talked about this on the show.
To identify as whatever gender or race that they choose without notifying parents. Tucker Carlson recently ripped.
She looks good for having 10 children. She doesn't look tired at all.
Him one on national television. Watch this.
Child, and it may endanger the child's safety or well-being to involve that parent.
Whoa! I know.
In that.
Who makes that decision? Who makes that decision?
Well, the school would make the decision, but I think what's missing here is that.
No, what's missing here is outrage. So let me supply some. The school has no right to take away parental decision-making from parents. The children...
He made mincemeat out of that guy, by the way.
...do not belong to school administrators. They are members of the family from which they came. How dare a school take that prerogative away from parents? Where do they get the right to do that?
Tucker.
Then we have a judge in Ohio stripping a child away from her parents because the parents didn't agree with this child ingesting non-FDA approved drugs for a sex change. That's right, a child who threatened to commit suicide if she didn't get to change her sex was stolen from her parents by the state of Ohio through the judicial tyranny of Judge Sylvia Hendon.
Okay, so I've talked about a few of these things. Angry Mommy's getting a lot of views, though. 400,000 so far. 400,000. She has 500,000 Facebook fans, and those, those are just her nephews and nieces. Man, when she has grandkids, holy hell. Holy hell. Oh, this is a funny story. A Pennsylvania school. Now, last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, I talked to you about a school in Pennsylvania that decided that to defend against active shooters, they would put 5-gallon buckets with rocks in the coat closet so that kids could hurl rocks at the shooter. The superintendent, the principal were laughed out of the building, essentially. Now teachers at Mill Creek School District near Erie, Pennsylvania, approximately 500, have been armed with little baseball bats as precautionary measures against mass killers. Here's the problem. You got to get this close to the killer, you know, and a gun could shoot like a long way. I mean, the bullet usually travels further than this, but they're going to give these bats. They're little, what are they, 16-inch baseball bats? Yeah, something like that, about 16 inches. The bats reportedly cost the district $1,800. Yeah. John Ciccone, president of the Mill Creek Education Association, an organization that represents teachers, said that the bats are to make people comfortable with the idea that they can attack and not simply go into a hard lockdown and just hide. Oh, dear God. You know. Superintendent William Hall said that while the bats are more symbolic than anything, then why get them? You idiot. Active shooters are a real thing. They do happen rarely, but they happen. So symbolism means precisely D word for Richard. The bats, according to Hall, are a part of a district-wide school killing response plan, which incorporates Trojan, Trogan. Yeah. Threat assessment, run, obstruct, and barricade. There's a B there. Join forces, attack, never give up. He missed a couple of. There's an A, threat assessment. There's an A there. So it'd be TAR, obstruct and barricade. It'd be TAROB, Tarab, Jan. That if you want to do all the words, it'd be Tarab Jan, not Trojan. I thought you should know. Yeah, kind of stupid. I don't think I want to play the crazy pro-choicer. Yeah, I want to play the crazy pro-choicer. Because this is a metaphor of what's going on around the country. Pardon me. When conservative speakers are on campus frequently, this is what happens to them. We saw this happen at Trump rallies before the election while people were waiting in line. We see this on campuses everywhere. We saw this at the University of Missouri. We saw this at Evergreen State College. This is a woman attacking a peaceful group of Christians who are having an anti-abortion protest. They weren't using any graphic symbols. They were just having an anti-abortion protest. By the way, rated PG-13 to R for profanity.
Ma'am, please don't attack my sign.
Go home! Go home!
MC.
Go home!
Please don't destroy my sign, ma'am.
MC.
Wow.
Please, ma'am.
I think she works at Facebook.
Go home!
Ma'am, why are you so angry?
Go home! Why wouldn't I be? You're a piece of fucking shit. Go home. Pack up your shit and leave. We don't need that bullshit here.
Ma'am.
We do not.
Wow.
We already have enough going on. I'm a fucking woman of this world. We're women of this world. You have no place to say goddamn shit about nothing. Go the fuck home.
You know, I just want to. I've never hit a girl, but if I could, I'd smack her right upside the friggin' head.
Go
They're being murdered down the street, ma'am.
Whatever.
I need to speak up for them. Ma'am,
wow.
please.
Okay. This is, dear God, this is a snowflake tantrum. This is a child who has been coddled her entire life, including through maybe, I don't even know if she's in college yet. But if she has been in college, she is being coddled. She's been put in safe zones. She has not been exposed to other opinions, and therefore they must be shut down because they make her feel unsafe. This woman, oh, swear to God. Okay, maybe not a hit, but a tranquilizer dart in the hindquarter. Maybe.
Go home! Go the fuck home! You have no right to do this. None whatsoever. You're freedom of...
Yeah, actually, they do. It's a First Amendment thing. It's you maybe should read the Constitution. Yeah, your feminist studies class at college, I don't think they probably. Or your, community organizing class, or your, I don't know.
Teach me damned. Go the fuck home.
Wow. Look at the tantrum. She's even got her arms crossed. She's like sitting. She's like the kid in the candy aisle in the top side of the grocery cart facing mom and dad, and she really wants the candy, and dad says no. This is what happens.
Yeah, so support the Angolan.
You need Jesus Christ, ma'am.
I need Jesus.
You have a lot of anger, ma'am.
I need fucking Jesus.
You have a lot of anger.
I need fucking bullshit. Of course I'm angry.
Wow.
I have every right to be angry. The only reason you're not angry is because you're a privileged white man in America.
Oh, there we go. White privilege. Yes, she's got all the talking points. She's got all the talking points.
That's it.
Why are you angry?
Why am I angry?
These are children who are being murdered and they need a voice.
Oh, no.
I am the person that could potentially carry that child. I care about my life. That's not
I wouldn't want to breed with her. I mean, she's going to have to get a sperm donor. There's just no way.
There's a lump of cells that is yet to be born. A baby is only a baby after it is
That's
exited.
a little human being.
A baby isn't a baby until it's exited. Wow. Textbook. Leftist. Textbook. Unbelievable. But that's what's happening. That's what's happening on campus. It's hate speech, right? If you dislike the idea of a woman having an abortion, and she supports it, she hates that, and so it's hate speech. There you go. Congratulations. All right. Let's move on to some absurdity, okay? And a little bit of absurdity. I might have a little more audio. No, I'm not going to play that. I'm done with the audio from the entire testification. Testification of Mark Zuckerberg. That didn't sound right. His testification. Oh, I do have to. John Kennedy of Louisiana. He's a Republican. I kind of like this.
Here's what everybody's been trying to tell you today, and I say this gently.
He sounds like a Kennedy, doesn't he?
Your user agreement sucks. You can spot me 75 IQ points.
Yes.
If I can figure it out, you can figure it out. The purpose of that user agreement is to cover Facebook's rear end. It's not to inform your users about their rights.
No.
Now, you know that, and I know that. I'm going to suggest to you that you go back home and rewrite it. And tell your $1,200 an hour lawyers no disrespect.
$1,200? That's cheap. Are you kidding me? For Mark Zuckerberg? Oh, did I tell you that Mark Zuckerberg buys all the properties adjoining his properties when he buys a house? He's got a mansion in Hawaii and he bought all the adjoining properties. You know why? Privacy. Yeah, I know. Isn't that great? That is just fantastic. Oh my God, I've got a good story. I've got a story coming up that about a police officer who was moonlighting as a male sex worker. And when you hear his name, I'm just going to tell you, when you hear his legitimate name, you don't have anything in your mouth. It's going to go right out through the nose. You're going to do a spit take. Do not consume anything. I'll give you a beverage warning before I do it. Balloons won't fly anymore in New Shoreham, Rhode Island. The town's council voted unanimously this week to say goodbye to balloons for good. New law prohibits the sale of and use of balloons throughout the town, which comprises, whatever. We're very concerned about the environment. Kenneth Lacoste, first warden. They have a warden. Okay, that's fine. There are other places that have wardens. There's a lot of information out there that damages that balloons do on wildlife. Wildlife isn't the only concern. Environmental organizations often point out that balloons can land in the ocean, eventually washing up on the shore, polluting the environment. Balloons Blow, a nonprofit organization. It's called Balloons Blow, dedicated to warning the public of the danger of balloons. That's what they do for a living. They are dedicated to warn the public of the dangers of balloons. They offer environmentally friendly alternatives to balloon on their sites. I don't know what it is. When your community is surrounded by water, you see the wrath of balloon trash daily. It's no wonder they are banning balloons altogether, according to Danielle Vosberg, founder of Balloons Blow. Anyone who breaks the law can face a $200 maximum fine. So if your kid has a balloon, okay, whatever. So much for that birthday party. Oh, boy. I'm going to save that. Apparently, when countries don't want invasive species. Remember that Simpsons episode where the frogs got into Australia or something? I don't know what the hell it was. But apparently, discussion of the threats posed by invasive non-native species such as the gray squirrel is terrifyingly similar to concerns over mass immigration, according to an environmentalist. Consultant for New Scientist magazine, Fred Pierce, argues that foreign flora and fauna are being demonized unfairly, while the problematic species which are native to Britain are given a free pass. Pierce decried the language used to describe invasive species like squirrels, very xenophobic. What? What? Are you nuts? Squirrel, little joke there. Suggests that anything foreign is bad. Anything foreign is bad. Well, yeah, invasive species. If you go to Minnesota with the zebra mussels sometime, they're pooky. It's terrifying, similar to the language which can be used about immigrants invading the country, according to environmentalists. It's terrifying. Yeah. Really stupid. In addition to the extinction threat they pose to native red squirrels, of which they wiped out huge numbers, through the spread of disease, gray squirrels damage and kill forest trees, while their predation of eggs and chicks has contributed to the dangerous decline of woodland birds, according to conservationists. So this idiot is saying that by not allowing the invasive species gray squirrel to come into London, they're xenophobes. They're xenophobes. You know what they are? They are, they're squirrelist. Like, no, they're squirrelophobes. They're squirrelophobes. That's what they are. Squirrelophobes. The ugly face of squirrelophobia, people. Huh? How does that make you feel? Knowing that you're a squirrelophobe. Really, honestly. Ridiculous. Sad. Okay. One more story. No viscous liquids, please. No liquids. Do not take a drink of anything. Policeman has stood down after it was revealed he was moonlighting as a male sex worker. I believe this is in London. While he was on sick leave, he was doing this, by the way. Sussex in the UK. Sussex. That's sus, and then there's sex on the end of it. Of course. A disciplinary meeting held earlier this week decided to fire Detective Constable Dick Holder. Richard Holder or Dick Holder. Without notice for gross misconduct. Although the man had already fallen on his sword, I think some other people probably fell on his sword too, and resigned. Detective Constable Holder had served as a police officer in Sussex, in the UK before he was caught advertising for sex work on an adult site. He probably wore the police uniform. That's kind of a big deal. The man was on sick leave when he advertised on the adult work site using the Sweet Sensations account. Chief Constable Giles York told the hearing Dick Holder had struggled with underperformance. Well, maybe at his job. As well as a pattern of disruptive behavior that has been on the verge of criminal at times. However, Police Federation Chairman Matt Webb, who represents Holder, fully admits that the allegations set out against him and said he was remorseful. He asked me to express his apologies for his lack of judgment. You know, sometimes you get a name and you're kind of destined to do something like that. You know, if your name's Dick Holder, I don't know. That's going to do it for my show today. What I would love for you to do is check out my official sponsor. They are pit barrel cookers. For those who are listening, they are a large black barrel, high gloss. It's a graphite exterior on a metal barrel. It'll last forever. And you put coals in the bottom of it in a little holder, and it has a little vent, and you light the coals, and you hang meats in it and kebabs and all that stuff, and you put the lid on it, and you leave. And you don't even need to flip anything unless you want to use it as a grill and leave the top off. You can use it as a smoker. You can use it as a cooker. Just go to liberty1tv.com/cooker, liberty1tv.com/cooker, and order, because these things are absolutely fantastic. Last you the rest of your life. Made by a veteran and his wife, and they'll last you forever. Pit barrel cookers are amazing. Like I said, liberty1tv.com/cooker. If you want to check out, you can just Google pit barrel cookers, or you can go to their official website, which is pitbarrelcooker.com, pitbarrelcooker.com. But I want to tell you, they are just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me today. And wish me luck on the anniversary tonight. Making whole filet, making a salad with pistachios and greens and raspberry vinaigrette and some grilled shrimp. Got a tomato, fire-roasted tomato bisque. And then what are we doing for dessert? Oh, yeah, we're doing strawberry. We're doing raspberry chocolate chip ice cream. I know, I freaking rock. Guys, if you get a chance to download the podcast on iTunes at Rob Carson Show on iTunes. It's free every single day. God bless. Have a glorious day, and we will see you again tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to The Rob Carson Show. Friend him on Facebook at Carson Show, on Twitter at Rob Carson, and on Instagram, I think Facebook and Twitter are enough for now. We'll see you soon.